FlossTube, it's Lisa here, just coming to you with my January 2017 WIP update. It feels like a while since I've actually uploaded an update for you guys. Obviously I filmed my December update quite about mid-December, and yeah, so obviously I put my Monster Extend review up at the beginning of January, so it's been a little while since I've done an update for you, so yeah, a little bit overdue I think. So a couple of updates for you in terms of where I am. So obviously when I filmed my December update, I've just been started on my medication for my migraines, and to be honest, I'm doing quite well on the medication, so touch wood. I'm doing okay. I've only had in the last 6 weeks sort of one episode, and it's been a relatively mild episode of a migraine, where I didn't need any of the strong triptan medications. I didn't need to take any sumatriptan for it, just a non-steroidal anti-inflammatory, just to take the edge off it. So it wasn't really a full-blown migraine either, so I'm doing okay. So the topiramate is working very well for me at the moment. So it seems to be okay. I've settled on mid-range dose, so I'm on a 50 milligrams 2 times a day dose, which is kind of halfway. So we didn't go through the full kind of doubling up process. We stayed mid-range. My GP felt that was kind of probably a good place to stop. I was settling well, I hadn't had migraines, and at least she felt that was somewhere where we could go. If I started to get breakthrough migraines, we could actually go up to the higher dose if needed. So I'm quite happy with that. There is an option if I need something else. Plus, I suppose I have been tired, feeling more tired than I would normally on the medication as well, and obviously the fatigue has been probably one of the major side effects of them all, and I couldn't be doing with feeling more tired than I actually am. I mean, I'm tired enough, so to experience the tiredness that I have has been quite harsh really. So I think that probably is enough really. So the fact I'm not getting the migraines has just been amazing. Obviously I was talking about the weight loss side of things. Yes, I am starting to lose weight, and it's not weight loss in the sense of I kind of feel as though I'm losing pounds and pounds. I think what the drug's doing is it's suppressing my appetite, which is brilliant. I'm not feeling hungry, so I'm eating less. I'm not feeling the need to snack in between meals, and my portion size has gone down as well. So I'm starting to lose weight now. I can feel a difference in my clothes. Clothes that felt tight are now starting to fit better, and clothes that I couldn't get into before I'm now starting to fit into. So it's not a remarkable weight loss by any stretch, but I'm noticing the difference. And although people aren't commenting when they see me and wow, you've lost loads of weight, I think because I'm still wearing quite thick jumpers because it's really cold here, I think that when the spring comes and I start to wear some, you know, tighter, more summery, thinner, less bulky clothes, I think that's when the difference will be more pronounced. So I'm looking forward to that. So I'm certainly feeling better from that perspective, and obviously if you're carrying less weight you feel better in general anyway, so that's certainly good. And the fact that from a lifestyle point of view where you're not got the constant worry of having a migraine on your mind is just such a huge difference. So so from that perspective, from a psychological perspective, I feel just a whole load better. So that's good news. Some news that wasn't so good this month. Last week my little Poppy girl, I took her to the vets. Poppy, and any of you who've had King Charles Cavaliers know this, my previous King Charles was the same situation. These dogs suffer massively with heart issues, and Poppy was actually born with a heart murmur, and this is to do with the heart valves. They kind of don't form properly, so they get kind of regurgitation of blood going back through the valves, which puts pressure on the hearts and ends up in a situation where the hearts are become enlarged and they don't work as well, and they end up basically with ineffective hearts, so congestive heart failure basically. So as we all know, Poppy has reached the age of 10 and hasn't needed any form of medication up to this point, and has done really well, and still is really, really fit. I mean, I've included, you know, in some of my previous uploads, Poppy running around like a crazy dog on the beach over on the East Coast when we go over to the caravan, and she, you know, she loves it. So she gets on the beach and she runs around like a lunatic, and she still does, you know. But she's got to the point now where she just needs a little bit of support, and she was started on some medication for heart failure last week. So you know, I'm kind of, I mean, I'm glad I've got her to the age of 10 and she hasn't needed anything, you know, because I've deliberately, knowing from birth that she had problems with one of her heart valves, kept her healthy, kept her slim, kept her fit, you know, so I know from my point of view that I've done all the right things for her, but still, you kind of, you know, it's that a kind of slippery slope really. I mean, it's just sad, isn't it? But she's still good. She's still great. She still loves going for walks, and you know, I mean, I'm hoping to keep her good and healthy for you know, a few more years yet. So I'm hoping she'll still be around a lot longer. You know, she's my little bestie, isn't she? So, you know, I'm still gonna do everything that we still do now, and you know, let me know what she wants to do. But she's still good. But yeah, I just wanted to share that with you. But yeah, obviously it's really sad news, but you know, we'll just go with it, and hopefully she'll be fine. But I think she's downstairs sleeping at the moment. The biting situation with her, we'd got the collar of shame off her, and she was doing so good, but for whatever reason, she started to bite her paws a little bit. So we've got the collar off and on and off and on. So I'd cleaned up her diet and she was doing so well. So she's having a little bit of a moment where she's still wearing the collar from time to time. I did take her off the medication because that was just wiping her out. That had so many horrible side effects. And with a clean diet, she was doing well. And I don't know quite what's going on with her at the minute, but we'll get her sorted. I'm sure she'll be fine. But yeah, she's okay. I'm going to take her for a walk after I've done this anyway. So we're going to go out. I'm going to go out and meet my parents and take her for a little walk while the sun's still shining. So yeah, onto the WIPs, because I think I've been talking for about 10 minutes and haven't shown you anything yet. So so yeah, I've got a couple of new starts. So the first is one of the Jan Lynn pieces, and it is the Crazy Crafter, and I'll just put in a picture for what that will look like when it's finished, just to show you. And this is where I am up to on this. So I started this on Christmas Day actually. I'll just bring that over for you to have a look at. So just started her, as I said, started this Christmas Day, just wanted something to do just while I was sitting watching the TV after dinner, you know, it's just as you're chilling out and you've got some family round, and I just can't sit still and do nothing, so I just wanted just something to just kind of chill out and do while we were kind of stuffed full of food and just chatting and, you know, kind of messing around really. So spent, you know, a few hours working on this piece, and I mean really I just wanted to do just a couple of smaller projects really, just to try and get some finishes in. Obviously I do a lot of the Heaven and Earths, and obviously, you know, they take up a lot. We don't seem to get very far with them, and yeah, just kind of want to feel as though I yeah, make a bit of progress on some smaller designs really. So I'm quite enjoying that. Obviously haven't worked on that much through January, but one of the quite cool things about this is you can see, that's just a picture, sorry it's got quite a bit of glare on it, but you can see here, I mean somebody's written the name Caroline in it, but on the pattern, which I can't show you, comes a whole load of letters, and you can basically put your own name in there. So obviously I'm going to put Crafty Lisa in there, and have that in my craft room, which is obviously where I'm filming from. So so yeah, so you can personalise them to your own, for yourself really. So I think it's quite good. So I like that. And one of these I'll just frame them myself. So it's only an 8x8 design, so it's quite small. And just put it either on my desk here, on my craft desk, or just put it on one of the walls when I've done it. So yes, I'm quite happy with that. And one of my, put it over there. Oh, I meant to say that with this, I was talking in my other December video about this. I didn't use the Ada that came with it. I actually used some of the 28 count even weave. If you remember my gorgeous girl that I stitched, it was the MCG textiles, some leftovers from that I used. I didn't want to use the 14 count Ada. There's some fractional stitches on it, and I just find fractional stitches on even weave so much easier than trying to poke it through the Ada, so I opted for that instead. Plus I just like the finish on even weave better than the Ada. I just like how it looks that little bit better really. Nothing against Ada, I just prefer how it looks. The second thing I've worked on through January, and this was obviously one of my Heaven and Earth designs, is my Randall Spangler Train of Dreams, and I'll put in a picture of what it'll look like eventually when it's finished, and a picture of where it was up to last time I showed you it. And this is where I have got up to. So I have made, I can get it up for you, quite a bit of progress. So I have pushed across onto the second page and down onto the page below as well. So obviously not quite completed the entire first page yet. There's some bits and pieces I have to come back to finish there, but kind of pushed across. Really enjoying this. There are an awful lot of colour changes in this. Really, really pretty design though, that I'm really enjoying. Mr. Frog came to visit this piece, and I'll explain why in a moment. He came to visit, Mr. Frog, on this section here, and what I do when I stitch, so I print off, and I'm going to stop doing this. Where have I put it? I brought it up and I can't find where I've put my, there it is. So in this folder I have all of my kind of colour charts for all the Heaven and Earth designs. There's nothing that you can see, there's no patterns in there. So at the minute, at the front here, I've got my Keep It Safe kind of colour chart there. And what I hadn't done, so the one I'm working on I normally by default take out and put to the front, and I had worked on my Maxine Gadd piece, so I'd been working on Darkness Falls, swapped out, and then, you know what I'm going to say before I even say it, don't you? And then worked on Train of Dreams. So, but what I hadn't done is swapped the colour charts over, and we all know that the symbols change depending on what colour you work on. So I opened up the colour chart, Darkness Falls, symbols, Heaven, Randall Spangler's pattern in front of me, looked at the symbol and pulled out the corresponding colour from Darkness Falls and started to work it in, and I'm thinking, that doesn't go. How can I be working on the box here, and it's the wooden box, and I'll be weaving in kind of this green shade into the box, and it looks like a darker brown on the actual picture, on the design. I'm thinking that looks really, really strange. How can that be? And I'm thinking, well, I really trust Michelle, who designs the Heaven and Earth and puts the patterns in, but this really doesn't look right. And it took me ages to realise what I'd done. and yeah, it was a whole night's work that I had to frog out and put back in, and it was actually a dark mahogany colour in it, and then I realised what I'd done. So always double check what you're doing. So obviously then trying to frog out 2/1 on 25 count Lagana is not fun, I can tell you. And yeah, I was not a happy person the night that I did that. So yeah, so a night wasted frogging that colour out. So anyway, I've managed to put it back in, and as you can see, made some really nice progress. So I do like this, but it takes a lot of time. So some really nice person commented, I'm not going to mention her name because it's not fair, and she probably hasn't asked me to, but you'll be able to see her comment in the comments below on the last comments. She said to me, as I'm not a parker and I tend not to park, that she thought that the Paco thread organisers and the needle holders might be a nice idea for me to work with. So I went on the So & So website, and I had a little bit of a discount on at the time, and I ordered 4 of each of them, and I've actually started to work with the thread organiser already, and I've been obviously using this at the moment for working on my Keep It Safe Heaven and Earth towards the back end of the month. So I didn't use it at the point where I was working on Train of Dreams, but I have started working with it for one of the ones that I worked on later on in the month, and I must admit that using this has really, really speeded things up for me, because I'm not having to, every time I change a colour, look at the chart, check the colour, find it in my little bobbin box, come back, pick it out, cut off a strand, thread the needle, and then same again when I change it, get the little book, cross-reference, and it just is so much faster just to look straight on here. Obviously I've got the symbols. It's not going to focus because the camera just doesn't do it fast enough, but the symbols are all marked on here against the colour of the floss. Straight away, what's the colour of the symbol, what's the symbol, go straight to the thread, and I'm away. And it's just speeded it up so much for me, and I'm going to get Train of Dreams set up on one of these. So I got 4 of these, and I also got 4 of the needle holders as well. Now I'm not sure how far I'm going to go with these yet, so I'm going to organise these, the little floss organisers, and then I'm going to see how I go about introducing the needle holders as well. I know Nikki Crafts uses both. I'm going to see how I go with these, and then maybe think about organising the needle, introducing the needle holders as well, but we'll see how that goes. But definitely these, so I'm going to set up Train of Dreams over the next few days, and get everything onto one of these, and it will, because the amount of colour changes, particularly in this, and I just don't know how I could park on this as well because of the amount of colour changes. I just don't know. I really don't know. But yeah, I mean, that's coming along nicely. You know, the coverage I'm happy with. I'm stitching 2/2 on 25 count. Whether or not I would really need 2/2 for this, I don't know. I mean, it is quite thick, the stitching, but you know, I'm not parking, so I'm not creating loads of bulk at the back either, because you know, I wouldn't say this is the back, and I still think that's pretty neat. That's the front. Not that it matters about the neatness on the back. I mean, you're not going to see the back, are you, when it's framed? But you know, because it's not, I'm not jumping, because there's no way to carry the green too, you know, so that you've got the green book on the side, there's no more green, you know, where am I going to carry it to? So I would say it would be tough to park on this anyway, even if I was a parker. So that's that. The other thing I have gone and purchased to go with this, sorry, my camera cut out for some reason, I'm not sure why there, but I was just saying that also one of the other things that I ordered between Christmas and New Year was some skeins of DMC 781 For some reason DMC have stopped manufacturing 781. I'm sure there must be something in this dye lot that is not eco-friendly or something along those lines that has stopped them manufacturing it. So they still produce 780 and 782, and I think the replacement for 781 is actually 782. But in my Randall Spangler pattern, I have both 780, 781 and 782, and because they want to replace 781 with 782, I'm actually going to stitch like sections that are actually the same next to each other, and it just, I don't know, just didn't seem right. I'm sure there must have been like some sort of anchor alternative I could have gone for, but I thought, well, seeing as though it's still in existence, I might as well order 10 skeins of it, because I do have some other patterns that are in my Heaven and Earth stash that do call for this as well. So I thought, right, well, I'll go ahead and order some, and at least I've got it in stock anyway for when I do need it. So yeah, I do have that, so I'll get that bobbinated and ready to go, because I do need to actually gun pack and stitch that in, because a lot of that dead space in that first page actually is the 781 that needs to go back and be finished. So yeah, I do have that to go and do. So it's coming on that one. Just, yeah, they just take a long time, don't they, the Heaven Earths. And okay, so I do have a little mini completion. So I signed up for the Lakeside Needlecraft under the Seasal and completed the January part, which was the little octopus and little fish. That is really cute. When the kind of picture came, because I ordered the PDF version of the pattern and it came down, I looked at it and I was a bit disappointed, to be honest. But the PDF kind of mock-up on the front wasn't very nice, actually. It just didn't do it justice, the pattern. And when I started stitching it and realised how good it was going to look, it actually kind of made me feel a lot better. This is like not the sort of thing I would normally stitch. I mean, you can see my style through kind of like the Mirabilia and the Heaven and Earth patterns, but yeah, no, I think this is really quite cute. So I'm looking forward to see what February's pattern looks like, actually. So I'm enjoying that. It took longer than I thought to stitch, actually. It took about 10.5 hours worth of time, that, with all the back stitching and detail on that, but it's good. So I'm stitching that on the actual flare fabric, the hand-dyed fabric, and it's a 32 count even weave that's recommended with it, so that's cute. So yeah, I'm quite liking that. Now the other thing I saw a lot of through kind of towards the back end of the last year and through like people's finishing videos in December was a lot of the Christmas videos, and not Christmas videos but Christmas projects that people had worked on, and I was kind of like, oh, I had never did anything Christmassy. And then I have in my stash the Mirabilia, you know, the Holiday Queen, this one, and I've got the pattern and I've got the fabric, and I was kind of on the brink of kitting her up, and I stopped myself from going out and buying the floss to do it, and I was just like, absolutely you're not, because this year I'm going to have kind of, for me, I've kind of made a bit of a promise to myself that this year I'm going to have kind of a saving up year. Not that I kind of have to, but I just want to have a year where I'm kind of getting some money, a little bit more money behind me, and saving up a little bit more, and maybe not buying things for necessarily for the sake of buying things, because you've seen some of the stash that I have and projects that I haven't done, and I've just got so much, especially the dimensions kits that I've shown you, and I thought, right, okay, then what have you got? So you remember the video that I did where I did that kind of what was in the box video, and you'll remember that I had a couple of Dimensions Christmas kits in there, and one of them I'd actually started a little bit, and it is, I'll put a picture in for you, it's the Candy Cane Santa. And I thought, right, you know what, I'm going to have a look and see where I got to, and I'm going to start it. So I did, and when I took it out, I'd actually realised that I'd started stitching him and the fabric was the wrong way around. So I'd started stitching him landscape instead of portrait, because it's actually portrait design. So I hadn't done much, but I frogged him out. So I removed all the stitching and I started him. So I spent, you know, a few nights putting some stitches into him, and actually really quite enjoyed it. Excuse the hanging threads. So this is where he's at. So you can see I've kind of gone into the top right, so you can see his hat there and sort of him a little bit, and this is his beard, and you can see where I've kind of got the window frame stitched. But I really enjoyed doing that. It's kind of got my pet hate in this, and my pet hate when it comes to stitching is blended threads. I hate blended threads. Just don't ask me why, I just do. I just hate the idea of pulling two separate threads together, joining them and stitching with them. Don't know why. A lot of the Mirabilias have that in them. I hate that about Mirabilias. Always have, and I suppose I always will. And I think it's just because you end up like having odd bits of two coloured threads hanging around, and it just ends up, you forget what they are. If you come back to a project later, you end up losing them, you end up throwing floss away when there's no need to. Yeah, it just ends up a disorganised mess. But I actually really enjoyed doing this. I enjoyed doing something a little bit different, and it just made a change from the usual stuff that I've been doing. So yeah, he was nice to do. So I'm going to work on him throughout the year as well, and see if I can get like something done for Christmas. So yeah, enjoyed him very much. And there's just different ways of stitching. A lot of the Dimensions kits, like you'll stitch with just different numbers of threads as well. Like sometimes you'll stitch with like 4 threads and 3 threads together, and there's quite a lot of back stitch, and I think there's some crewel stitching in here as well. And yeah, it's just that little bit different. Yeah, it's good. So I liked him. And then, actually no, there's a little bit more yet. I did some work on my Keep It Safe. So I'll put in a picture of what it will look like when it's finished. So I'll put these in for you, and a picture of where I was when I started. And then I'll show you where I got to. So excuse the hanging threads on her. So you can see that I have come out across here and filled out some more of that, and I've also worked my way down, and I'm now at the point where I'm stitching her shoulder. This is a strand of hair that's coming across, and there'll be some more of her hair here, and sort of come down the way across there. So I have made a reasonable amount of progress on her too. There's so much background on here, and I've said this before about this piece. I'll just hold it back so you can see. Because obviously one of the pictures that I've put in first is, in an ideal world, what you would have wanted the picture to be. The second picture is what it will look like when it's finished. I think the amount of background on this is sort of soul destroying, and it's one of those where I'll keep going with it, but oh God, I just wish there wasn't so much of this grey. It's just crazy, the amount of background, and I wish I'd have known, and I've said this before, how much of it wasn't actually the pattern, because I would have cropped it. I would have cropped probably most of that and along the top, and just taken several thousand stitches out of it, and just made it probably less, well, almost half the size of what it's actually going to be, and just saved myself probably about, I don't know, 2 years of work, because it's just, I mean, there's detail in it, and it's cloudscape, and it's moody sky, and, you know, it'll look effective, but it's just madness, the amount of work that goes into doing something like that. And it's like, I suppose, with the Heaven and Earth designs, I've done a lot of work, and you look at this, and I don't know, it's just, you just never feel as though you're getting, it's like walking through treacle with them, isn't it? And it's all the projects, all cross stitch, all needlework, just takes forever. It just takes so long, and I just, you know, you kind of look at what you've done, or what I've done this month, and I feel as I've just put hours of my life into it and achieved nothing. And I know I have, and I know it's a stupid thing to say, and I look at the progress, but I don't know, I think I'm just having one of those, like, kind of times with it where you just think, oh god, maybe I just need like a little break from it. Maybe I'm just expecting too much and doing too much, and maybe I just need a little bit of a rest, perhaps. Plus I am tired at the minute. I'm tired today, and I haven't slept well the last couple of nights either, so that doesn't help. But yeah, maybe I just need a bit of a break from it. Maybe do something else, maybe do a bit of my other crafting stuff that I do, and have a little bit of a downtime from this. But I haven't picked up my service stitches in a long time, so last night, as something a little bit different, I did, because obviously last time I did this I had triggered and I had a horrible migraine. I haven't been able to look at it, but I have been able to look at it, and I managed to put in some more of the next lot of block work. And I spent maybe an hour and a half on this last night and just started to stitch in the next phase of the blocks. So I have made a little bit of progress with that there, so I'm pleased with that. And when I next pick this up, I can maybe start putting some of the insert patterns in. So yeah. So I'm right along, that's the full kind of width of the first, of the top row anyway. So it's kind of as wide as it's going to get across the top there, so I'm happy with that, and it fits anyway, because I was kind of wondering whether or not it would, because before I kind of got the sewing machine around the edges it was fraying like a crazy thing, and especially this side here, it had gone a bit crazy in terms of fraying, and I was panicking that it would get to the point where I wouldn't have had enough to finish it at the end. But I'm alright now, it's fine, there's enough, and it'll go all the way to the bottom as well, so it's not going to kind of run out of space at the bottom as I work my way down, so it's fine. But yeah, no, it's really pretty, it looks lovely on the black, that, and again, it's another one that you know, I'd like to see right through to the end, because it looks just so effective, but gosh, you know, it's just the time, isn't it? So I don't know how I'm quite going to work this moving forwards, you know, because of, you know, the amount of time or lack of time, and work's so busy, and you know, you're getting in a couple of hours on a night, and you know, I don't know whether I'm going to run with one Heaven and Earth project, because obviously this month I haven't worked on Darkness Falls at all, so there's one Heaven and Earth I haven't worked on. I haven't worked on the giant Harry Potter sampler at all, so they're the two I haven't put anything into at all this month. Obviously the Jan Lynn piece, the Crazy Crafter, I mean that's by the by. I mean that's something that you can easily do. I'm not concerned about that, nor am I concerned about the stitch along. I mean, that's something that you can, you know, that's stitched up in 2 nights, it's nothing. But the bigger pieces, you know, that it's the Heaven and Earths, and that are taking the time. So yeah, I don't know what to do about those. Don't know whether to have one big focus piece, you know, whether to make the Randall Spangler my big focus piece and really go with that and really hit it, and maybe do 2 weeks of that every month, and you know, spend a bit of time on a couple of other pieces. I just don't know, because otherwise it's gonna be hard to get very much of the stuff done, well, to make them progress enough. You know, do I keep it safe away, and just have Train of Dreams and Darkness Falls as the two that I really focus on for this year? I don't know, I'm rambling now. I don't know. I don't know. I suppose you get to the point where I don't feel as though I'm kind of losing my way. I just kind of want to, I just want to see some progression. You know, I just want to see, I mean, I know they're progressing. I kind of look at where I was for Train of Dreams last month and where I am now, but I just kind of want to see something more, and it just takes so long, doesn't it? And when your time's so limited and precious, and I don't know. I'm just kind of being a bit defeatist today. It probably wasn't the best day to film. It probably wasn't. I'm going to stop it now because I'm just going to irritate everybody. I probably just need to I'm away with work actually for a couple of days now, so I'm probably not going to do anything today now. I'm going to take Poppy for a walk with my parents. I need to do some work stuff. I need to edit this. I've got some stuff to do for work. I need to pack. I'm away for 2 days now. Upload this when I come back because it's the weekend and my internet connection's terrible, so it's not going to get uploaded before I go. Upload this when I come back, and then have a think. So I'm going to have like a couple of nights where I don't stitch, and then have a think about how I want to tackle this moving forwards, because I don't have a rotation, like a strict rotation as such. I do have one, but it's kind of not strict. I don't want to do that to myself because I want to keep it so it's fun. I want to have it so I enjoy it still. You know, life's regimented enough without making this forced, but I do feel as though I have to have some focus. I'm going to have a focus piece, because otherwise I'm not going to get anything finished. But we'll see. I mean, you know, I was talking a few weeks ago about, you know, I'm enjoying the process. You know, you don't have to have things finished, you know, just enjoy the process of stitching. And, you know, I mean, up until this point I have felt very much like that, and it's true, I really have. But I think over the last couple of weeks maybe I've just kind of hit a bit of a slump, you know. I mean, I've been sort of stitching for about 6 months, you know, while I've got back into stitching properly since August when I started uploading FlossTube videos, you know, quite seriously stitching, maybe say, and kind of hit that wall, I think. I don't know whether you can hit a wall with stitching, but maybe I have. And, you know, for like 6 months of my life quite strongly dedicated to it, I just feel as though maybe there's not as much output in terms of my commitment to it, maybe. But we'll see. I'm certainly not going to give up, but maybe I just need to rethink things in terms of how I go about it, in terms of the process of it anyway, or my way of doing it. But that will become clear, I'm sure, over the next few days as I do it. But I mean, certainly the Paco things have helped in terms of speeding it, so I think once I get those sorted, particularly with the Randall Spangler, I mean, I really felt a difference, and I felt as though I accomplished so much more on the, you know, the few days I worked on the Zindy Nielsen piece, the to keep it safe. So, but anyway, guys, I'm gonna go because I can see that my countdown on my camera for whatever reason is flashing at me. So I think it's going to cut off soon. So I'm going to love you and leave you. Thank you for listening to my ramblings. I'm sorry I went on and on towards the end, but you know, we sometimes feel that way, don't we? But thank you for watching, and thank you for all your support, guys, and thank you so much for subscribing. I'm so overwhelmed by your support, and I really will keep going. And I love you and leave you, and I'll see you next time. You take care, guys. Thanks so much for watching. See you soon. Bye.